Hey, hey. The scenario for this one is that it's the Second World War. The Japanese Navy is relocating one of its battleships to a safer position. It has been spotted, and our fleet of two light cruisers were the first ones to spot it and are tailing it. Our job is to either cripple it or stay on it until reinforcements arise. So for this mission, I decided to make something that could operate in the Pacific Ocean without min-maxing too much. And that specifically means that range has to be pretty decent and seakeeping has to be decent. For example, I can't lower the draught down to nothing, which increases stability and accuracy a lot, but it's not going to fare well in the storms that can happen in the Pacific. Other than that, I actually usually also I make the smallest possible ships I can, but for this one I decided to make it exactly at the point where you get a slightly wider hull or longer hull. So I had a little more space to work with. And I decided to use to my advantage since I can't abuse speed. If you take a look at the speed here, 35 knots, I think that's pretty within the norm of a light cruiser. It might even be a tad slow, but it's definitely within the norm. What I did use to my advantage, though, is that if you look at the 6 and 7 inches of the American guns, keep in mind, this is because I already increased it by 20%, but they are L53, I think, and L55. And when you increase it by 20%, that's around L68 to L70. And this is, it's fairly longer than the guns of most other nations, or at least around half of the other nations. So that's an advantage. I wanted torpedoes to deliver a killing strike to the enemy battleship, but not so many that I just put out a 20 to 30 torpedo broadside from each ship and just sank it like that. Otherwise, this ship is fairly well balanced. It's not heavily armored at all. It's not too fast, and it has decent seakeeping. So let's see if we can sink the enemy battleship. So we start the battle already within visual range of the enemy ship, and holy moly, that's a beautiful, beautiful ABC turret configuration and an X turret at the back, and they're 19 inches. Holy moly. This is going to be interesting. This thing can definitely wreck my ship with a single shot. And those are 6-inch secondaries and 5-inch, I would think. Yeah, it says on the side there. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I like the secondary turret in the front there as well, the elevated barbette position. So let's see how this goes. So let's have a closer look at the destroyer that is coming to greet us. I can see loads of torpedo launches on the deck there. Pretty standard for a Japanese destroyer of this era, I think. I can spot 1, 2, 3, 4... Oh, wait. Torpedo launchers at this range? I think we need to steer clear of that. So the first few torpedoes are making their way towards me, but honestly I expected a longer salvo. He probably blew his load long before he got to the range he is at right now. So the Yamakase has developed a severe list there, and I believe Yamakase means something like mountain spirit or mountain wind, if I'm not mistaken. Mountain spirit is kind of a weird name for a boat, in my opinion, though. So the enemy super heavy battleship has been identified as the Katsuragi. It has 19 inches. That's 8 barrels worth of 19 inches. So, we're already surpassing real world here. It's 78,000 tons. So definitely within the super heavy category. Standard bulkheads, spacious quarters. The turning circle is not too bad. It's less than 500. But it seems like the aft and foredeck and belt armor, it's not really something to write home about. It seems like the AI dropped the ball here. Man, I still can't get over how the AI puts certain turrets where they put it, like this secondary on a barbette between those two funnels. Doesn't make sense at all. So I noticed that the battleship screen has moved up to the opposite side of my ships. So I'm going to try to get up along the battleship and see if I can't torpedo it. And here's a pretty wasted shot of torpedoes. I intended to get a good shot on the enemy ship, but as you can see, the enemy screen is moving in, and they will detect these torpedoes. And at the same time, I believe they will fire their own torpedoes. So congratulations to the AI, they're actually doing their job. If they start out the battle in a screen order, they actually stick to that, and they do that well. But the enemy AI doesn't seem to be reactionary. It will only keep the orders it has at the start of the battle, it seems. So if it's on screen the entire time, it will always stay on screen. But that also means that it won't seek out my ships proactively and try to keep them further away from the enemy battleship. So I think that's something the developers have to address at one point. Seems like the enemy DDs are coming closer, and that just gives me a good opportunity to get rid of them. I'll just have to watch out for their torpedoes. So the Urakase seems to be suffering an ammo detonation at this point, but considering the low amount of damage, I'm guessing it's just the 2 inches blowing up. Not wanting to be let out, it seems the Katsura is also suffering the same issue here, and I'll be able to clean up these two DDs pretty quickly. I have to admit, these torpedoes from the Soya is quite a bit closer than I really would prefer. I don't have any sonar on board this ship, I think, or a hydrophone. The Soya has launched a second salvo, and it's kind of sneaky, the single launcher that is in a different trajectory here than its quad launcher cousins. Really sneaky, that one. The gunners of the Katsuragi finally gets a good hit on the Long Island. Just hard to port and fire off your torpedoes. You're done here. Just get home. Try to stay afloat. The Denver is tasked to get rid of the Soya so we can get back on to crippling the Katsuragi and get revenge for the Long Island. AI, you're turning into the torpedoes. You're turning into the torpedoes. Oh, oh my. It seems like the Katsuragi is experiencing a significant emotional event and is sinking. Just one torpedo, and that's all she took. Well, with the Katsuragi out of the picture, we can just get up right into the face of the Soya and just blow her out of the water. She already fired off her torpedo, so she shouldn't be a danger at this point. And with that, our task force has fought way beyond its weight class, literally. That was quite the lucky hit on the Katsuragi, but I'm not complaining. That was fun. The next video is probably going to be a Wargame Red Dragon video. I don't play a lot of Wargame multiplayer, and when I do, it's always tactical games. And at that, it's usually ASF decks, so it's not really video material to do that over and over again. So, but the next movie is probably going to be that, so look forward to it.